I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation. From every mountainside, let freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation.
Hello everybody, I am the official Reverend Therapist and welcome to my video today. Today I want to take the opportunity to go ahead and film with you the Martin Luther King National Memorial. As y'all can see, I'm live here in DC, and I think it was a good opportunity for us to want to come out here and just to see this monument. Now, as you can see, the craftsmanship of the monument is superb. I've not seen this monument a whole lot of times where people have posted, the ones who came out here and posted, you know what I'm saying, it was cool, but actually to be out here and experience that, it is a privilege, an honor and privilege to do that, all right? So, I just want to show y'all this different things that they have about the monument that's really good, all right? Now, first of all, this is one of the famous words that Dr. Martin Luther King stated. He said, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. So this monument, it represents a form of hope out of, despair, out of uncertainty. And I know right now that we're experiencing a lot of despair and uncertainty right now. But however, through this symbol, or this symbol of monument of hope, that we can all achieve what we're trying to achieve, you know what I'm saying, which is this basically this justice for all, hopefully by the end of this year or so, we could get past the racial disparities that we deal with every single day, that we could finally get past this and finally understand that, you know what I'm saying, we are one family, period. But until then, this is what we have to look forward to, every single time. All right. So there are other things too that we want to show you too while we out here as well. Now, as you visit this monument, there are a lot of different quotes and stuff that Dr. Martin Luther King stated. But we don't go through a few of them. We ain't gonna go through all of them for time purposes. But I just want to share it with you. Now, this is one of the key quotes that Dr. Martin Luther King stated back in Alabama back in 1963. As it reads, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught inescapably network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. Wherever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And I believe that this particular quote deals with what we're dealing with right now, with the different racial disparities that we deal with right now. But yet, it's still everything that's been said here. Stuff it's not adjusted. It's not per se addressing that our country is full of racism, but what it is giving us a symbol of hope as well. All right. So there are different quotes that Dr. Martin King said throughout the whole entire memorial. That, like I said, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do encourage y'all to come to the memorial. If y'all have an opportunity to come to DC and come to the Martin King Memorial, please check it out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really enlightening as well. So that's all I'm gonna say about this right now, and then y'all just continue to fight fate with faith. You know, y'all, after when I had visited the Martin Luther King Memorial, I really started thinking about how Dr. Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech, have that been fulfilled into our modern day generation right now? Have it been truly been fulfilled? I've been just really been thinking about this real hard. My conclusion is this: even though that we may be still dealing with some forms of racial disparities, even though also some of us quote unquote black people are still not in alliance with their dream that Martin Luther King is talking about. I believe that overall that Dr. Martin Luther King's dream has been fulfilled. I believe that everything that he was marching for, I believe that everything that he was going up to the Capitol, the Senate, and everything he was preaching about, I believe that all of that has been fulfilled. I believe by him going and marching and doing what he did, I believe that he have a purpose behind it as well, and that purpose has been fulfilled. This is my reasoning for me believing that it has been fulfilled. My reasoning that it has been fulfilled is first of all, we as African Americans, we could go to we could go to any type of establishment. We could go to any type of industry anywhere throughout this country, where without us being judged by the color of our skin, without us being fully judged about the contents of our character, we could go anywhere. We go to a restaurant, anywhere. Because keep in mind, back in the day, during segregation and prior before that, they was dealing with separation. They even had a water fountain that was designated just for white people versus a water fountain designated for black people. But we don't have that no more in the modern day. They had a separate seating arrangement in restaurants where one side was for whites, the other side was for color. But in the modern day, we don't deal with that anymore. We don't deal with that separation anymore. There used to be a point in time where a black person or a colored person would go either to a bank or any type of financial institution to either try to open up a banking account or try to apply for a loan, right? And they'll immediately judge that black person by the color of their skin or by their race or ethnicity. Now it's different in the modern day where practically anyone could go to either any type of financial institution, and they could go and get a loan or anything like that these days. Back in the day, black people or colored people, they couldn't go to no car dealership to purchase a vehicle without them being judged by the color of their skin. But right now we could go all the way back. Well, as of right now, we could go to car dealerships. We could go and purchase a vehicle without being judged by the color of our skin. The only thing that all these different things that I just mentioned, the only exception to these things is that you're not going to be judged based on the color of your skin or based on your race or your ethnicity. You're not going to be judged by that. However, you're going to be judged by your actual moral character or your moral characteristic. In other words, you're going to be judged based on your financial status, which that includes like income or anything like that. You're going to be judged based on certain, as they say, quote unquote, credit. You're going to be judged on that, but you're not going to be no longer judged based on the color of your skin in the modern day. Even if that was still possible and that was still going on, it would be very, very, very little of it going on. It'd be very little of it going on. Now, I know some of y'all looking at this and y'all say like earlier, man, you like way off the ball on this. Did you not forget that just a couple of years back, we are going around and we was doing our Black Lives Matter thing, and where we're trying to get people to still respect us as black people, and and there's some people going around and shooting and killing black people. My answer to that is, I want y'all to pay attention to what was happening prior during the segregation era versus what's happening right now in the modern day. I want y'all to pay close attention to that. And I want y'all to compare and contrast what was happening during the segregation era, especially through the era that Martin Luther King was going through. I want y'all to pay attention to that. Pay attention to all the disparities that people of color was going through during that time versus what people of color are going through now during the modern day time. I would challenge y'all to see that it's a huge difference in the disparities. Because once again, segregation was real back in that day. Segregation was real back in that day, back in that time. I'm not going to deny that because that is 100% facts. But now in the modern day time, we're no longer living in a form of segregation now. We're no longer living where we have to, we're no longer living in a generation where there are literally a whole country going out hunting people of color. We're not living in that time no more, where you literally have a whole mob of people, whereas not only it's the one country, but it's the law enforcement and everything going out and hunting people of color anymore. We're no longer living that in the modern day culture now. Now, keep in mind that there still are people that are out there who do still carry on some of this tradition that like how it was in the past. Keep in mind that there are some that are doing that. The KKK and all them, they still exist. They're still active and they still exist to this day. They're still active and they still exist to this day. But it isn't as active as it was back in the day during the segregation period. It wasn't as active as it is now. People of color right now, we have so many rights, or we have so many freedom to do whatever it is that we want to do. To do whatever it is that we want to do. However, it's up to us to choose to do what is right. Not only for the country, but also for us as a race of people. Now, here's where the new disparity comes into play. The new disparity comes to play where we as each other are now creating disparities among each other. Where we living in what is known as a crab in a barrel mentality. Where we live in where we always have to one up each other every single time. We have to instead of we coming together as one for one purpose, to uplift our communities, we're separated. We are separated. We're separated by what is known as social class now. You have the poor black people, or as I say, the low income or the ghetto black people, as you say. You have the middle class people, which is called blue collars. Then you have the upper class black people as well. Now, keep in mind, by me mentioning about these social class, each social class is different. We're not walking the same. We're not talking the same. We're not believing the same. Each class believes that they better than the other class. And this is what's causing our disparity between us, is because we're living in a crab in a barrel mentality where we're not walking together in unity. We're not walking together in hope. We're not walking together to solidify us as people. We're not doing that. We're not doing this at all. We're so divided in the modern day. And a matter of fact, I put to y'all this way too. Back in the time when I was dealing with segregation, back in the time when Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all these other good individuals in the scene, you want to know what was happening with us as black people during that time, during segregation? We were unified. We were unified with one common goal, one common purpose. And that's for us to fight for our rights to have equal opportunity and equal freedom. We were all unified. We were all unified back in that day during segregation. We were a village. It was okay for us as neighbors to not only watch each other's children, but it was okay as us as neighbors to protect our children. It was okay during that time for us as neighbors to even protect our children. It was okay as neighbors back in that time to even discipline our children and to treat our neighbor children as though they was our own. It was okay back in that time. It was okay back in that time for us to network with each other. Whoever had a business idea or proposition or whatever, it was okay for us to share that knowledge with each other. Each one teach one, to build each other up. It was okay for us to do that. It was okay for us to do that back in that time. But now, as we evolve into our modern day right now, our modern day culture right now, now it's not okay for our neighbors to discipline our children. It's not okay for us to be a village. It's not okay for us to share whatever type of business knowledge or revenue or anything that we have towards each other. It's not okay to do that anymore. It's not okay to do any of these things anymore in the modern day. Instead of us being each one teach one, it's each me teach me. And I'm gonna hold it to myself without holding myself accountable. That is where we at right now in the modern day culture. That is where we at right now in the modern day culture. That is the reason why it is so much disparity right now in the modern day culture. It necessarily don't have to deal with race. Just like I stated earlier, just like I said, y'all may disagree with me on this, but race or racial disparity has become a minimal issue with us as African American in this country now. Does it still exist? Absolutely, it still exists. But it ain't as bad as how it was back during the segregation era. The number one enemy that we're dealing with now is us. We're dealing with us now. We're our own number one enemy. We're the one who allowing redlining. We're allowing people to come into our communities. We allow people to come into our communities to buy out the land in our communities. We're allowing that. We're allowing violence into our communities. We're allowing that. We're doing that. We're allowing young women to be in our communities, become pregnant without a father in the home. We're allowing the government to control the welfare of our families. We are allowing that. Where we have the power to do the exact same thing that Martin Luther King did. We have the exact same power and ability to do the exact same thing that Martin Luther King did. March up. Demand our rights, demand our freedom with certain things. But we choose not to do that because this modern day is depending more on the system of the one government, more than depending on our communities. And you want to know why we depend on the government more than our communities? It's because of the lack of trust between each other. Because of the lack of trust between each other. We would trust a system that we barely know about, or people within the system that we barely know. We would trust them quicker than we'll trust our own brothers and sisters in our own community. Why? Why? It's because where our modern day mentality is at right now. I want to share with y'all, and this is dealing with psychology, all right? I want to share this truth to y'all, all right? Now, this is my personal truth, right? I believe that the reason why we in a modern day have the mentality that we have right now is because I believe that we are more, as you say, overly privileged. After our ancestors did what they did, after our ancestors came and marched and they fought for our freedom and they finally ended up achieving the dream that Martin Luther King was preaching about on their historical day, I believe that we got so comfortable where now we feel that we're overly privileged. where we feel like we just overly privileged now. I believe that some of us have forgot the struggles that our predecessors had to go through for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor, what you're dealing with right now. There's no way in the world, even right now, by me doing this podcast, there's no way in the world that I would be able to do this podcast without my predecessors doing what they're doing and honoring that. It'd be no way in the world I'll be able to do this. It'd be no way in the world for even y'all viewing and listening to me. It'd be no way in the world y'all be able to do this without our predecessors coming before us and doing what they had to do to get us to where we're at right now. So I believe that now we got so comfortable, we done got so overly privileged to the point where we don't even respect the struggle anymore. Where we're not even respecting the struggle anymore. We're not respecting what our predecessors have did for us. We're not respecting the gift that our predecessor has given to us. Yeah, y'all want to know the worst thing that could want to happen? And this is just speaking as me as a father, right? One of the worst things that can happen to me and my children, right? One of the worst things that can happen to me is that I give my children a gift, right? I done work hard to make sure and provide to them so they could get a certain gift that they really, really wanted, that they really, really not only wanted, but they needed, right? I done worked so hard doing that, right? For them to receive the gift and abuse it. For them to receive that gift and abuse it. I believe this is where we at in the modern day right now, where we at right now. Our predecessors have given us a great gift, a revolutionary gift, a gift for freedom, a gift of equality, a gift for choice. But instead of us respecting the gift that was given to us, that they worked there hard to give us, they done went through blood, sweat, tears, lynchings, and everything just to give us this gift. Everything. For us to turn around and abuse the gift that was given us. And I believe this is where we're at right now in the modern day culture right now. Right now, we're feeling that we're overly privileged. We feel like that we're overly privileged now. We feel like that we're so overly privileged now where we don't even respect the struggle anymore. You know what, heck, before I went live with y'all today, I was just scrolling down YouTube, and I was scrolling down Facebook, I was scrolling down Twitter, and I was scrolling down these different social media outlets, right? I was scrolling down just to purposely see who I was going to talk about Martin Luther King today. That's to purposely see who's going to talk about Martin Luther King today, who's going to at least acknowledge the day today. I barely seen a lot of people talking about Martin Luther King today. Barely. I barely seen people even put up pictures about Martin Luther King today. Barely. But you want to know what I did see though? I seen stuff that hold us back. I seen us posting stuff that irrelevant, posting media stuff that's irrelevant, posting stuff that's not going to help us improve, posting stuff that's not going to help us become accountable. I didn't see none of that. So once again, this let me know the disparity that we're having with that we're having with each other, that we just feel like that we just so overly privileged where we just saying the heck with Martin Luther King dream, the heck with equality, because I'm privileged anyway, so I'm gonna do what I want to do because now I'm entitled to it without understanding the struggle that our predecessors had to go through in order for us to enjoy the fruits of the labor. So on this special Motivational Monday, I want to share with y'all and I want to encourage y'all, and I also want to hold y'all accountable as well, is about the dream that Martin Luther King, shared with us. This dream that has become a reality. This dream that calls us to now be equal, that calls us to now to be free, that calls us now to choose whatever it is that we want to do. But on this Motivational Monday, I want to share with y'all to hold yourself accountable. If you feel like that in your mindset, you feel like that you're overly privileged, you feel like that what our predecessors did in the past doesn't have anything to do with you in your present, in your future, how dare you think that way? The accountability is now on us to continue the dream, to continue to provide for each other, to get out of this crab in a barrel mentality that we're in, to get out of this mentality thinking that the reason why you in the condition that you're in is because of the white man. No, the condition that you're in is not because of the white man no more, or the man. It's not because of that anymore. It's because of you and the choices that you're making. It's time to hold our own self accountable now for our actions. It's time for us to hold our own self accountable for our actions and the decisions that we're making. True wealth, true prosperity isn't just because of money. Money plays a part of it, but there are other factors that plays a huge part of it as well too. Other resources includes knowledge, wisdom, understanding, forgiveness, trust. These are all these things that I mentioned. These are the factors that's going to help our community to prosper and grow. But if we don't have none of these things, or have none of these moral obligations or responsibility, even within our own personal character, then we're going to forever live in this disparity. We're going to forever be in this what is known as a generation curse, over and over and over again, where we constantly be separated from each other. So some of us feel that that's because we done went to school and paid money to got a piece of paper, which is a degree. We feel like that we're better than our other brothers and sisters who haven't went to school. Why? Some of us feel like that we earning $50,000 a year. We feel like that we better than our other brothers and sisters, so we look down on them. Why? We'll look down on them. Some of us, we feel like that we're so good and so privileged that we feel like that we're so good and so privileged that we feel like that we're too good to learn about trading and coding. We're too good to not work at restaurants. We feel like we're too good not to even work at a McDonald's or something. We feel like we're too good for that. But yet, in the same mentality, we're in the same mouth, we will instantly judge people who are immigrants, who come into the country, who are immigrants, and we'll instantly judge them and say, oh, they sit up here taking our jobs. They're up here taking our resources. The government is helping them more than they're helping us. We will instantly say that. But yet it's still the same jobs that they're willing to take, them the jobs that we're not willing to take. We're not willing to control. We're not willing to learn about and turn it into a corporation. We're not willing to do that because we feel like we're quote unquote too good for it. We feel like that them type of jobs is beneath us. But however, our predecessors before us, they the ones who took on all them jobs and stuff. They took on them jobs, and not only they learned about the job, they created communities over the job. They created business over the skill that they learned at their job. That's what they did. And this is the reason why, back in the day, the Black Wall Street was so successful. It was successful because that community came together with all their knowledge and resources, and their knowledge had the village mentality where each one is teaching one, raising not only their children, but their neighbors' children, their neighbors' children, into one collective community. They took all the resources that they learned, they acquired it and brought it back into their community. They were sharing it with each other. And that's why back in that time, the Black Wall Street in Tulsa was successful how the way it was back in the day. In the same aspect, that's the reason why you barely see a Black Wall Street right now. In our modern day, it's because now, instead of us doing the same exact thing, we choose to acquire knowledge and hold it within ourselves. We choose to hold that knowledge into ourselves. We don't want to each one and teach one. We want to build our own little establishment, right? Then get upset when other people of your same race decide to give you business, right? And they begin to complain about your business. Then you have the audacity of nerves to just talk about them when it's you with your mindset. Instead of you having an each one, teach one mentality, you like, oh, I build it on my own, so y'all need to come and support me. But you're not supporting them. And you get upset. And this is the reason why them type of business doesn't even last long. Probably about a month or so. That's why they don't last long. Instead of using that knowledge that you learn for us a business aspect, you using that knowledge, you taking people, you bringing people in like, hey, I'm starting this business. You market yourself, hey, I'm starting this business, right? So I'm not going to bring people from outside my community into the business. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hire people from within my community to show the community that this is a community-based establishment. This is a community-based business. I want y'all to be involved in this. Not only that, I'm going to show y'all everything that I had learned. Then that's when people will start supporting you. People will start supporting you then versus you being by yourself. So this is the reason why we're dealing with the disparities that we're dealing with right now with us, Black people, African American people in this country. This is the reason why we're dealing with the disparities right now. See, we could complain all day about the politicians who represented us, which even with that deal with who? Us as a community. Because guess what? Guess what, y'all? The most important elections that we can do is not the presidential election. That is not the most important election. The most important elections that we could do is the local elections where we voted for people who's going to represent us, our House of Representatives, our local representatives in our communities. That's the most important elections. But however, how many of y'all been voting in y'all local election? How many of y'all participate in your local election? How many of y'all have took the time out and vet the people who are representing you? Or did y'all just vote for them because they're Democratic? Or did y'all vote for them because they're Republican? Or did y'all just vote for them because they're Black without vetting where their mind is at, vetting what goal and vision that they have for the community? How many of y'all have did that? But yet still, we could go back and we could go and complain about the politicians. We could go and complain about how fair the white man is and where we feel like that we still not privileged and stuff like that. We could do that. We could go back and complain about the disparities or racial injustice. We could go complain about the disparities even with our law enforcements. But however, we have the ability to control who we have in office. We have the ability to control who's in office. Even the constable in our local community, we have the ability to even vote in and control who we want to be in that. Do y'all know that? Which they control the law enforcement, which they control who they're hiring and who they're firing. Do y'all know that? It's not the president that does that. That is our local community representatives that we vote in. I have been to plenty of before COVID. I've been to plenty of different meetings where I had the opportunity to speak with different people who are now represents the district, who are now part of the House of Representatives, because I took the part of the process of help voting them into that. I took the opportunity to help them with their campaign, wherever way they can. Whether it's me giving them financial support, whether it's me going out there knocking on people's doors and telling them about this person and why this person is good for our community. I done did that. I done been out there handing out flyers and everything. I didn't did that. Just as the same by me going out there, guess how less of us was out there. It wasn't a lot of us. It wasn't a lot of us out there. We should be out there in the thousands. We should be out there in the thousands to find out whoever this House of Representatives or whoever it is that we're trying to vote to represent us. We should be out in the thousands to vet about this person, to find out what they're about. Then if they're about it, then we should 100% support them. But it wasn't a lot of us that was doing that. But yet and still, it's very easy for us to get on social media and complain. It's very easy for us to try to call accountability for the people who are in office, try to hold them accountable. But when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, the person that we need to hold accountable is who? Us. Because we the one who holds the power to either vote them in or vote them out. We do. We do. But we don't exercise that power. You want to know why we don't exercise that power? It's because the lack of understanding, the lack of wisdom, the lack of importance of us, each one teaching one. The lack of importance for us to understand it that in order for us to be successful, we have to be successful at everything possible. We have to be successful at everything possible. We have to be successful politically. We have to be successful spiritually or religiously. We have to be successful financially. We have to be successful even in our social economic status. But if we don't do that, this is where we're at right now. This is our disparity that we're dealing with right now. This is where we're lacking right now. But I want to let y'all know, everyone who's viewing right now, I want to let y'all know this. We have the opportunity to change this. We have the opportunity to hold each and every last one of us accountable. We do. We have so much power, but we just not aware of the power that we have. But we have so much power and ability to do it. We have so much power and ability to do it. But we are lacking the knowledge. Even furthermore, we reject the knowledge. We reject it. We say, the heck with what you talking about. I'm going to do my own thing because I don't trust none of these Negroes. And this is where we at. This is where we at right now. So now y'all should be asking me, okay, Urban, I hear you. Some things that you were saying, I agree with you. Sometimes you were saying, I don't agree with you. But however, what solution do you recommend? What solution do you recommend? What is it that we can do to move forward? I'm glad y'all asked. What we can do to move forward is simple. It's simple. And it's so simple that it don't take a whole collective community to do it. It starts with you. It starts with you. What you can do is first reevaluate your mindset or your mentality. How important is it for you to see the community as a whole, as a Black community or the Black culture as a whole? How important that is to you? That's the first question you should be asking yourself. Is it even important for you to even consider that or to even think about that? That's the first question. Then if the second question, if it is very important to you, if it matters to you, the second question is what part am I doing to make sure that us as Black people can move? What am I doing? What I'm doing to help support it, and what I'm lacking in. That's what you should be asking. Each one teach one doesn't start by you, doesn't start by you teaching someone else. Each one teach one starts with you. Each one teach one starts with you. So you have to figure out within your own self, what is it truly that I bring to the table? Not in relationships, because I know we throw this what we bring to the table thing, and we symbolize it with relationships between genders, man and a woman and stuff like that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, what do you bring to the table collectively as a whole and within the Black culture? What do you bring to the table? What do you offer? What is it that you offer? Do you offer financial resources? Do you offer wisdom, knowledge, understanding? Do you offer philosophy? Do you offer any type of historical data? Do you offer any type of economics, or doing anything with social economic status? What is it that you offer? Do you offer any type of trading and coding or anything? What is it that you offer? What do you bring to the table? What is it that you bring to the table? When you figure out what it is that you bring to the table, you work on yourself to build that, to edify that, to make it as strong as it possibly can, to make it to be the best that it possibly can. Then from there, you present it. From there, you present it. And for those who want to hear it, you present it to them, and you begin to build each other. Then they're presented to the next person, begin to build with each other. Think of it this way. I know some of y'all, right? I know some of y'all, right? Y'all familiar with the pyramid schemes and stuff, right? Or the pyramid plan. I ain't gonna call it a scheme, but the pyramid plan. Some of y'all's part of business. What's the name of Primerica? Some of y'all was with Primerica and other type of pyramid type of things that you was doing, right? What I'm talking about is the exact same thing. The only difference is that instead of you trying to build a person up build a business up like that, we're building each other as a community as a whole like that. We're building each other as a community as a whole like that. We're constantly building and building. We're lifting one up. We're over one person overhead, another person bringing the person who's under them and bringing them up. Then the next person is doing and bringing them up. Then the next person is doing and bringing them up. Next person is doing and bringing them up. Same concept. Same exact concept. This is the same exact concept of what they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma, during the Black Wall Street era. Same concept I'm telling you about. And I believe that this is the same concept that we have to acquire in the modern day right now. This is the same concept we're supposed to be doing right now in the modern day. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Can it work? Absolutely, it could work. Absolutely, it could work. Will it be difficult? Yes, it will be. Everything in life is going to be difficult or hard. But once when you learn to master it or master the craft, it's going to be wonderful. The end result is going to be wonderful. So yes. Yes. Well, would there be some who don't want to follow with the plan? Yep, absolutely. And this is going to be because of different reasons. People are not going to want to follow the plan because of different reasons. It's because of what I stated earlier. It's because some of us, we have this mentality thinking that we're better than each other. We're jealous, we're envious with each other. That's that part. The other part is that others are so caught in that mentality where they don't even want to do better for themselves. Let's be real about it. There's some people right now who have this mentality that they don't even want to do better. They are satisfied with the results of their life that they live with right now. So they're not going to change that mentality, period. And that's fine. If that's where they at, that's fine. Leave them there. Just leave them there. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But let me tell y'all the difference between the ones who are jealous and envious versus the one who are just set in their ways. Let me tell you the difference between the two. Do you know that the ones who jealous and envious, the number one reason why they're jealous and envious is because they're lacking something that they desire that you have. Y'all understand that, right? So to notify that, you know what you have to do? Give them what you have, right? Common sense. Just give them what you have. And that will end the jealousy and envy by giving them what you have. Now, when I say give you what you have, I ain't talking about you giving them all your money into that. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the knowledge and resources that you have for you to get to the point of where you at, and you help them to achieve that. You give them that.